Off they go, bags in tow. Matt and Chrissy hit the road. Maps unfold, stories told. Adventures never getting old. Matt and Chrissy roam so free through the city, past the sea, finding joy in every moment.
G'day guys,
Matt and Chrissy here from Couple of Sitters, and guess what we have got?
we bought a van.
Look, I can almost stand up in it. You can stand up.
Yeah, touching the ceiling.
So what did we get, Chris?
We purchased a Toyota Hiace, super long wheelbase with a high roof, 4-wheel drive, jack and porch. It's a Regius Ace model.
So we had a bit of an interesting chat when we were picking the vehicle up, and one of our friends who came with us, you should have seen that video. If not, check the link. Pretty cool. He gave us some really helpful tips when it came to looking at the vehicle and making sure that it was mechanically sound. And he looked at the Regius part of it and he said, oh, you can call it Rodriguez. I've never named a vehicle before. So that led us down an interesting little path, and we went from Rodriguez to Sugar Man, and I couldn't get the Sugar Man song out of my head. That is a cool song.
So now we have Sugar Van.
Sugar Van.
Sounds a little bit like a pimp mobile.
It does. We are going to pimp the Sugar Van. Yeah.
That's the plan. We're going to pimp the Sugar Van.
So
Oh, that's
what
cool.
is it that we're looking at doing today?
So we're going to get some measurements of our interior, and we've already done a little bit of research which we'll share with you in relation to the ideas that we're going to throw together to kit out the van and turn it into a nice little camper.
So we reckon we could quite easily get the insulation and the flooring done. So insulation along the sides. We're going to pull the roof out and do the top of that as well. With the side panels you can see here, we probably can see them more better from the front there, who knows? There's side panels.
Yeah. I'm going to put this down just to...
Yeah, well that seat,
that
that's going to be
gives you
coming out.
Yeah, Matt wants to get rid of the seat. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
conversation of contest, that one.
The rationale behind it is that it does take up a lot of space for what it is, and I think we'll be able to utilise the area more effectively. But these panels, we'll pop these off. We'll do the insulation behind them.
So initially we're just going to take it in stages. We've obviously laid a lot of cash out to buy this little beauty, but we don't want to rush into spending $30,000+ on a fit out when we can potentially halve our costs and make it a little bit more unique.
Yeah. So today, measuring.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have the benefit, not sure how well you can see it on the camera right now, but we do have the benefit in that this van came with a plastic vinyl flooring. So we're actually going to use the vinyl flooring as a guide when we're cutting our material for the floor.
Yeah. There will be some cool little tricks and tips that we're going to share along the way here that came courtesy of Domo with his extensive experience in mechanics. Making sure you don't need to rip your floor up.
Yes. If you do have a Toyota Hiace, there is a filter in the floor of the main cabin area of the van, and so when people are kitting out their camper vans, quite often they'll just cover it over, and mechanically that's a really bad idea, because if something happens and the mechanic needs to get to that filter, and the change is that they have to go underneath rather than through the top, we're talking about probably 3 hours worth of work versus 15 minutes. So they're going to charge you for that time. And that could cost a bundle.
So what filter is it that we need to make sure we keep accessible there, Chris?
So that is the fuel filter. Hence why we don't want the mechanic having to drop the fuel tank out of the base of the van, because they'll have to hoist it up obviously. And being a high van as well, I imagine in a mechanic's shed, there's only so much room that they have.
Yeah, well, I suppose by the time we get the solar on top of this and one of the airflow units installed, it could have a 2.45 metre clearance. And if you're chucking that on a hoist in a workshop, that could present some challenges.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday you were sharing a few helpful hints from a driving perspective, because this style of van, once you add that extra height on, is not going to drive like a car. So there's a few things we need to consider. One is you're going to be limited to where you can drive, so no more underground parking, no more driving in towered parking lots and stuff like that. We need to make sure that we can actually fit in the space because it is a high vehicle. But more importantly, which is what you shared with me yesterday, is you're going to have to change the way we drive.
Yeah, your driving habits might need to shift. If you're used to being in a vehicle that sits lower and closer to the ground, you might have taken corners with a bit more speed. And next time you are driving, when you're doing that, just feel how much you pull with that, the momentum shifting in the direction of, or the opposite direction of which way you're steering. So if you're steering to the left going around a corner, getting onto a motorway, you'll feel that you'll start to lean to the right. As you increase the height of a vehicle and the vehicle's center of gravity increases as well, so there's more weight further up, that weight on those sorts of corners, particularly if you're turning at speed, does present a bit of a challenge as far as a vehicle's potential to roll. Now that's not saying that this something like this would roll once we've got, you know, the air unit and the solar panels and everything on top. It may well still be able to take those corners at that sort of speed, but you just need to be mindful that the higher the vehicle, the higher the center of gravity on those corners, speed is a roll factor.
Yeah. So the main thing to consider is that we're not driving a little Suzuki Swift anymore. And yeah, it's not a racetrack. So take it slow, people. Be safe. You want to take care of your vehicle so that it lasts the distance. These vehicles have a really good track record, and there are some people who have, what was it, 1.3 million kilometers or
Yeah, that was what
something
we saw last night.
that we saw.
3 million Ks and the engine finally
And
died.
it finally died. Now that is fantastic. That's very rare in a vehicle. And yes, the technology has changed, so the kilometers may not be as much of a factor, although people still look at the kilometers and have a bulk factor.
Well, that was something that was key for us with this. So if we picked a unit that we've got because it had low kilometres, it's got maybe 50,000 kilometres.
53,000.
Yeah, not a lot. So it really gives us the opportunity to be able to make sure that we've got a good start with the vehicle. There's not a long history of it having been used and thrashed around, so we're happy with that.
And I'm a little bit mindful. I don't know that this is everybody's thing. This is a Jap import, so we are the first Australian owners outside of the importer. But for me, one of the big things was that because we've bought this new, obviously not many people have had a chance to drive it like a human.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to go and see what's going on with these dogs behind here. We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you later.
See ya.